And I'm Matt Hanna.
And this is Horror Hour with the Hannas,
where we talk about scary movies.
And today we are talking about Matt's favorite scary movie of the year 2022, Nope, which was written, directed, and produced by Jordan Peele. It is his third film as a director after Get Out and Us, and it stars Daniel Kaluuya and Keke Palmer.
Yeah, and it rocks.
It does, in fact, rock.
It's very, very good.
Yeah, I don't really understand people who didn't like this one, because I know this one I feel like has the most...
It has detractors?
Detractors.
I thought Us has the most detractors.
Yeah, I guess it's certainly not Get Out. I don't know, I've seen more people say that they don't like Nope, but I'm pretty sure it's probably because they just don't get it enough to enjoy it. I don't know. But even so, I still think it's fun. Well,
that's silly, but it's fine. I'll talk about why it's so good later, but that's dumb. There's like something for everybody in this movie.
Well, some fun facts about the film is that Jordan Peele specifically wrote the lead role of OJ for Daniel Kaluuya. Jordan Peele also consulted with a jellyfish expert for the design of Jean Jacket, which I thought was really fun.
I didn't know that.
And the third fun fact that I wanted to share is about the title of the movie. Did you, have any thoughts on where the title comes from?
No, but I saw a joke the year it came out that Don't Look Up and Nope should have changed names. Get it?
This one could definitely have either. Well...
No, Nope is a really perfect name.
Yeah, while watching the movie, I thought maybe there's a scene where Daniel Kaluuya goes to look at it and goes, nope.
He says a lot.
Yeah. But the title speaks to the idea of the audience reacting to what they're thinking and feeling in the theater. So when you tell people it's a scary movie, a lot of the times they say, nope. So I wanted to acknowledge those people with the title and bring them in. This is about the person who thinks they don't love the horror movie to show them maybe they do.
I agree. If you're not a big horror fan, this is one to go after for sure. Mostly because, it's a spectacle movie. I described it in a tweet we just had as a... blockbuster cowboy horror spectacle, which is what it is. Sci-fi too, kind of.
I kind of wish we waited and watched this with no self-control, Olivia, because she's not a horror liker, and we told her, we could find a horror for you that you will like.
That's a good idea. Maybe what we do is we ever watch it and then season 2 wrap up in 25 episodes. She can talk about it.
Nah.
Or have her watch it and just come on and give
Maybe
us
we'll just
5
get
minutes.
her to watch another Jordan Peele movie. I feel like that'll do it. Well, that is all that I wanted to share for my fun facts. Didn't want to take up too much time for that, but I thought those were super fun.
Let's talk about how we saw this for the first time.
We saw it in theaters.
Yeah, the two of us saw it in theaters together, and I would think this is the 4th time I've watched it now.
This is definitely only the second time I've watched it.
I showed it to my mom. I made Jason watch it, and then we just watched it.
Oh yeah,
now.
I definitely fell asleep when we watched it with Jason.
Yeah, so I'd say this is my 4th. And so I really like it, but I was like, I have to watch it again. And no, it was great. Pretty much 10 minutes in, I was like,
it's interesting you feel that way, because when for me, my favorite movies, I'm like, yes, let's do it. And you're like, no.
Well, this isn't one of my favorite of all times. I just think it's my favorite Peele movie, though.
And he has 3 bangers. So
yes.
That's high praise.
Yes.
A little more background. Going into this, I don't know about you, but I had no fucking idea what this was about.
No, we knew Alien and that was it.
The marketing was so not deceiving, but they just gave nothing. They gave you absolutely nothing, and then it was all of the marketing at first, all it said was Nope, and it was a picture of the sky and a cloud, and that's all
the thing
we
hanging
knew.
From it, the banner hanging
But that's
from
all we knew. That means nothing if you haven't seen the movie. So I feel going into it, I had no fucking idea what I was getting into, besides right beforehand Aliens, and I'm really, really, really afraid of alien media. Anything with aliens really scares the absolute bejesus out of me. So this one was a tough sell for me, but I was also it's Jordan Peele, so I have to.
Yeah. And we've seen...
It's pretty tolerable, though, for an alien hater.
We've seen all of his movies in theaters.
Yes.
All 3 of them.
We saw Get Out in an early release,
yeah,
which was super fun. It also defied expectations. But
now we have a horror podcast. We need to get some more pre-screenings.
Yeah, that was just a lucky thing that our college offered us an event, and I got tickets to.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I didn't need to know anything, though, because I was like, yeah, I'll see another Peele movie.
Well, yeah, that was kind of how I feel like most people felt.
And in my opinion, I think he was making his magnum opus with this one.
Damn.
I think he
only has 3.
Yeah, I know. Well, he has room to make more. He's making video games with Hideo Kojima, too. OD. Right?
I just feel like Jordan Peele is a little fucking genius.
Yeah, he's a really smart guy. And you gotta love seeing someone go from comedy to horror or to drama. Mm-hmm. We've seen it plenty of times. They just seem to get it. Mans
can do it all, really.
Yeah.
I will say, too, like, going into it this time, obviously, we knew what shit happens in the movie. So, I know the first time I definitely hid a lot more because aliens, and this time I hid 0 times, but, like, I know the movie at this rate.
Yeah, it's not overly scary. I think it's more disturbing.
Yeah,
definitely... a tweet I saw that I really liked was that someone thought about one of the scenes so hard that they threw up. And it's the digestion scene.
Yeah, I was going to say, I know what scene it was.
Yeah, and I get it. Like, yeah. I would also say, like, the Gordy scene is just really tense and gave me goosebumps. But we'll get into that when I give you our little plot summary at some point.
This one did have a couple, not screams, but, like, yells.
I get kind of giddy when you start seeing Jean Jacket fly around. The first time you
see Jean Jacket, Matt went, "Oh my god!"
It's so fun.
It was really funny. There were a couple of those moments, and I think it got like a minor scream out of me. Yeah. But that's it, just one. Want to do our 15-second summary?
Sure. Can you go first?
You're trying to think of a joke?
I don't have anything yet.
Okay.
You hit the timer?
I wasn't mentally prepared, even though I suggested the summaries. Okay.
Are you ready? Go.
Horse trainer wants to make money by selling alien footage, and that leads him to essentially, like, attacking said alien... shit. I was trying to say something subversive, and I really couldn't get there. I almost want to shit can this bit because I just absolutely can't do it anymore.
We've been struggling.
All right. 3, 2, 1, go.
Siblings try to get footage of an alien, and the alien eats a bunch of people, and they eventually do get a photo of it, and a bunch of people die. And the alien is representative Hollywood. Yeah. We'll get to that, though. The plot is easy. That's what I like about it. It's very simple plot with extremely complex themes.
Extremely so.
I think that there are a ton of themes in this movie, too. And I feel like we're not going to be able to hit all of them.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think people like the themes I would understand going over your head. Like, I almost felt like an idiot watching this for a little bit. And I just know enough people who did watch it, and they just, like, didn't get it. And so I think it does.
I think it is Peele's most personal film of the 3.
I could see that.
And I will tell you about why later, but
can you stop teasing what we're going to talk about later, please? Like, we all know we're going to talk about the themes later. Like, stop.
Nope, I got to keep them guessing.
That's a pet peeve I have when people do presentations where they go, but I'll talk about that later.
Well, that's it there for a reason.
I'll talk about that later.
So it's there for a reason.
Just put it on the slide now, fucker.
Nope.
All right, give us the plot.
Yeah, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. In California, the Haywood family trains and handles horses for film productions. One day at the Hayward Ranch, small metallic objects violently fall from the sky and a nickel ends up killing Otis Hayward Sr. 6 months later, his children, Emerald M. Hayward and Otis O.J. Hayward Jr., are fired from set after their horse, Lucky, reacts violently to its own reflection. To raise money, O.J. has been selling some of the Hayward horses to Jupe, who operates a western theme park called Jupiter's Claim. Jupe was a child actor on a family sitcom that co-starred a chimpanzee named Gordy. During filming of an episode, the chimp maimed and killed some of his co-stars, but left Jupe completely unharmed. One night, the Haywoods notice their electricity fluctuating and their horses violently reacting to unknown presence. They discover a UFO. The siblings decide to document and sell evidence of the UFO's existence and recruit electronics store employee Angel to set up surveillance cameras. The UFO arrives and abducts a horse. The next day, M attempts to recruit famed cinematographer Antlers Holst to help them record the UFO. Holst declines, telling M that chasing wealth and fame is a dream you'll never wake up from. Angel then arrives and reveals that a cloud in the valley never moves. OJ suspects that this is the UFO's hiding place. Jupe introduces a live show in Jupiter's claim where he plans to use Lucky as bait to lure the UFO. For months, Jupe has been offering the UFO the Haywood's horses in secret to gain its trust and tame it before revealing it in a show. The UFO arrives earlier than expected and consumes Jupe and everyone in attendance, leaving only Lucky alive. OJ, attempting to retrieve Lucky, confirms that the UFO is actually a territorial predatory organism. After the creature showers the Hayward household with the regurgitated remains of Jupiter's claimed crowd, OJ realizes that it only attacks those who look directly at it. He devises a plan to record it. M and Angel are hesitant until M receives a call from Holst, who now agrees to help after hearing about the missing Jupiter's claim crowd on the news. OJ names the organism Jean Jacket after a horse that M as a child was promised to train but remained wild. To circumvent Jean Jacket's effect of shutting down all electronics nearby, Holst brings a hand-cranked film camera. The group sets their trap, however, a paparazzo trespasses on the ranch and is thrown from its electronic motorcycle when it shuts down near Jean Jacket, who promptly devours him. OJ and Lucky lure out Jean Jacket, and Holst captures on film, but his obsession with trying to get the perfect shot results in him being consumed alongside his camera, forcing the remaining three to flee. Angel survives an attack from Jean Jacket, being wrapped in a tarp and barbed wire, causing the creature to unfurl into a new, larger form. OJ intentionally looks directly at Jean Jacket, drawing the monster's attention and allowing M to use the motorcycle to escape to Jupiter's claim. There, she untethers the park's large helium balloon mascot of Jupe, the large eyes of which attract Jean Jacket. Jean Jacket attempts to feed on the balloon while M uses the attraction's analog camera to photograph Jean Jacket as it feeds. It attempts to eat the balloon and it results in it exploding, destroying Jean Jacket. With the picture as proof of the creature's existence and reporters arriving nearby, M sees an unharmed OJ and Lucky standing outside of Jupiter's claim. And that's it. That was my best reading so far.
You stuttered. Still.
Oh, okay, fine.
I can't let you have this win.
That was a good one.
Oh, I'm just gonna get it started with shit I liked. This movie is fucking beautiful. I mean, obviously, it's filming on location where they filmed. Like, it's already stunning. Like, I'm sure it just, like, is beautiful. But then the cinematography, it's just, like, this movie looks so fucking good. Of all three of Peele's movies, I don't care what's your favorite. It's undeniable that this is the most beautiful to look at. This
is clearly the one that had, I don't know if it had the biggest budget, but it felt like it had the biggest budget. And I would say he was taking everything he's learned from the first two and like really showing how he's mastered it here. Mm-hmm. And I really enjoy the way it looks. You're right. It's beautiful. It's scale. It's a spectacle, which plays into everything about it. Like it's very important that this movie is a spectacle. And Jean Jacket itself is a spectacle. It's about spectacle. Yes.
Whoa, this movie has 3 times the budget that Us had.
Yeah.
Unsurprisingly. I'm looking at Get Out's budget now.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's big.
Oh my gosh. Get Out's budget was only $4.5 million.
Yeah, Get Out
Us was 20, and Nope was 68.
Reasonable. Yeah, that's what happens when you make 2 bangers and then you get a third one.
Yeah.
You're right, though. It's a beautiful movie. It's well shot. I think, especially when you have Jean Jacket that's all CGI. They did a phenomenal job with planning, I think, to make Jean Jacket look real.
Yes.
I'm sure the way they set their shots up and the way they moved the camera really gave like a lot of life to Jean Jacket. Mm-hmm. Jean Jacket looks awesome too. I think it's fun to also have it that Jean Jacket looks like your typical UFO early in the movie. It looks like a metal
it's like
ship.
This weird jellyfish thing.
Yeah, it's like an actual creature.
Yeah.
I guess it's like a jellyfish pulls into one hole and kind of spits out the same hole. That's what they do. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
And
it kind of subverts your expectations with it not
did,
being a ship.
I felt that way. I thought we were going to get aliens when we were watching it the first time, and when it would be turned into an animal, it really just changes everything. So yeah, looks wonderful. From a plot standpoint, it's thin in a good way. It's like how Mad Max Fury Road is thin. They drive left, they turn around, they come back. There is this creature, and they want to get footage of it, and it's eating people, and then they stop it. But it allows there to be so much more when it comes to themes and when it comes to performances and the way it looks by just having this like simplistic plot. I think that's awesome. Mm-hmm. But I'll say performances from everybody are really, really good. Keke Palmer and Daniel specifically have insane chemistry as siblings.
Yeah, you would think that they are siblings. Like, I see it.
They're so good. Like, and Keke Palmer, I wrote, is really annoying, and that's like, why it's like perfect. She's so obnoxious, but she's great. It's like in a good way, like in a like younger sibling kind of way.
Yeah.
And Daniel's so like quiet and reserved, and it's just I really like their dynamic. The guy that plays Angel, I don't know his name.
I feel like he does a really good job of kind of lightening some of the tension.
He's
while
really
also
funny.
Not being like weird or upbeat or anything. Yeah.
But
I feel like he understood his character real well.
You know who steals the show and everything he's in, though? Steven Yeun. Playing Jupe.
I was kind of surprised because I feel like a lot of the marketing was Steven Yeun. Like, in a couple posters that I had seen, like, it is him looking up.
Yeah. He's critical.
I, like, really thought that he'd be in it more. So I remember the first time I was like, what the fuck?
He is so perfect when he's there. I wouldn't say he actually steals the show. I don't think anyone's out acting. Everyone feels perfect. But I just love when he shows up and stuff. Mm-hmm. And he's playing Jupe, who is the owner of Jupiter's Claim that, as we see in the movie, survives the chimpanzee attack in one of the most, like, pretty harrowing scenes. Mm-hmm. This movie really is just back-to-back amazing scenes over and over again. Mm-hmm. But overall, I mean, I don't... There's so many good things I can say about it. Like, I love... Pretty much everything about it. Music is also incredible when it... especially when they start doing the cowboy music, like the Western style. There's some really cool set pieces with the horses.
I feel like he combines genre really well. Like the sci-fi, but also the Western.
Sci-fi, Western, horror, blockbuster. Because this is the most blockbustery of all of them.
Oh, for sure.
In terms of like an adventure film, almost.
Definitely.
Like, yeah. It rocks.
I think it does a really good job building tension, too, in a way that doesn't leave you... Like, I didn't ever feel like I was about to, like, pee my pants.
You did the first time.
Yeah, I guess.
During the scene with the fake aliens, when you still think it's real.
the alien scene does fuck me up. I wrote, the barn alien scene is so tense.
It ends up just being Jupe's kids, but it's like, I remember also being like, oh my god, like, get me out of here.
Fucked me up. And that is where I did, like, have a light scream today. Like, that scene really gets you. But I think any of the scenes involving Jean Jacket, where they're kind of, like, waiting for it to fly over, or, like... When it's over top of the house and they're like waiting to see what it does to them, but all it really does is spit out blood over top of them and fly away. Like, it's really suspenseful. Also, that scene of it pouring down blood
of the people
it
just squished inside of itself,
crazy.
Yeah, Jean Jacket. I'm just gonna say nice things about this movie. Jean Jacket's design is incredible for a lot of reasons, but I think part of it is the fear of like. It doesn't eat you right away. It holds you up there and like slowly digests, which is, and they show that really claustrophobic shot inside when people are starting to realize what's happening to them. That's the shot that made people throw up. And it's like so unsettling to hear the people screaming, and then it spits the people out and spits their coins and their keys and things they had on them back up. Just incredibly disgusting design. I really like it. And Jordan Peele's a freak. Like, who thought of that, to put the camera inside the digestive tract of people and have people alive in there? Like, ooh, really good. It's a good time. Is there anything I can keep saying nice things. What else do you like? Or do you want to talk about what you didn't like?
I can say, like, the one thing I didn't like, which, again, like, I just have one. I do feel like... The lighting, for the most part, is well done, but there were just a couple scenes where it was a little too dark. We're
having that same complaint. It's that it's muddled. It doesn't draw your eye anywhere. Right? Yeah. And that was at some of the night scenes, not all of them.
Most of it I thought was fine, especially there's, like, the one scene of Daniel Kaluuya in the car.
With his eyes.
And, like, the whites of his eyes, like, the way he's, like, looking around, it really pops like it should. But... Yeah, there were a couple scenes earlier on that just didn't have that pop. And to be fair, we were watching it in the daytime, but I'd still like to be able to see no matter when I'm watching my movie.
And I will say we saw it in theaters, and I don't think I've had that problem as much, but this is a theatrical experience movie.
Yeah,
like, but seeing it on that big screen.
It's only in theaters for a little bit.
I know, they gotta bring it back.
It needs to be able to live on.
Yes.
Anything you didn't like?
I mean, I agree with you on that. No, I don't know if I can say anything bad about this movie. I feel like anything I would say bad about, there's like a reason for. And I don't even know what that would be. Like, it's like, I just want to say nice things. It's a really good movie. If any complaints about it, come fight me. We'll chat. Call in. We should get like a voicemail where people can complain and then I can be mean to them. Wouldn't that be fun?
You know what I should have looked up? I should have looked up Logan Paul's tweets about this movie.
Oh, we're gonna talk about that, but don't you worry.
Oh,
we'll talk about that later.
Oh my god. You have it like...
I don't have it up, but there's one specific thing that I really need to speak on, because he's an idiot.
Well, the movie is like insulting him.
Yes,
so.
yeah. The thing he complains about is something he would have done. Also, I don't like anybody complaining with the logic of movies. It bothers me when you complain about plot logic.
I found the first in his thread, but for some reason
you can't see it. All right, don't worry about it. It's because you're not logged in. Okay. All right, let's talk about favorite scenes then.
My favorite scene, I actually have one like immediately off the cuff, and you know I always have trouble with this one. Love the scene at Jupiter's Claim where he's doing his like new show, and that's
and Jean Jacket
shows up and eats everyone, and his like previous co-star is there who was mauled by Gordy, and like as Jean Jacket shows up, like her cloth that's in front of her face starts getting like pulled. Blowing, and then it's just Steven Yeun looking up at it, and his hat kind of looks like Jean Jacket, and then you just see the shadows of all of the people being picked up like on the ground by him. Oh, and then God,
the next shot it goes black, and the next shot after that is them being digested inside.
Yeah.
And yeah, I also agree. The sound design in this is crazy because they like everything about that scene is just so well constructed. And then like you don't see Steven Yeun get sucked. You hear people screaming first, and then you see shadows of people being thrown around, and then very good. So since you said that one, I'm gonna say the scene right before it, which is when we get a flashback to Gordy, who isn't really named Gordy. It's the chimpanzee that played Gordy, or one of them. It's a scene where the chimpanzee mauls all the co-stars, and it's basically from his perspective under the table. And
that shit's alarming.
Is so scary. And I also this stuff has happened before. The actual the way they designed his co-star that has her face basically eaten off, like that shit happened before. Like there's like circus problems where chimpanzees like do this and people survive.
One incident like in the early 2000s that is like used as an inspiration. I think it was like a family who had one, and a friend came over and it like mauled her. And then when the cop showed up, it got in the cop car or something, and then it had to be shot. Yeah.
But this scene ends with. Basically, Steven Yeun doesn't leave because he gets distracted by a shoe standing up in a weird position, and that probably saves his life. And then the monkey comes over for a fist bump, which is like something they did in the show. And then as he goes to fist bump, the chimp is shot by police.
I did not see him as being distracted by the shoe. That's not how I saw it.
Oh, okay.
I just saw it like he's hiding and he doesn't think it's safe and he sees the shoe. Like I didn't see it as a distraction or anything.
Okay, I'll tell you well, that was my favorite scene, so let's get into themes, and I can jump into that right away, because that's part of my thematic analysis. So you ready for that?
Yeah, I guess.
Is there something else you wanted to say?
No, I just had, I was going to go with the theme that I think is the most out in the open to start with, but you seem like you have...
Okay, well, the shoe I'm just going to say it because we're there. The shoe, in my opinion, is a bad miracle, which is something they talk about a bunch in...
Can you say that word again?
Bad miracle. Am I saying it wrong?
Miracle.
Miracle, it's the Pittsburgh in me. Basically, he gets distracted by the shoe sitting straight up, and that allows him not to run, and then that makes him believe that he can tame... Or he thinks that he basically was able to tame Gordy, and Gordy is his buddy, which leads him to then believe later he can tame Jean Jacket. In reality, it is just a cosmic random thing that happened that led to him believing it, hence a bad miracle, which is what they feel about with Jean Jacket as well. But fine, we'll come back to that, or we don't have to. But that's how I see
Jordan Peele also, his explanation of that was actually different than that.
Oh, okay. What's he have
Which I thought was really interesting because I know that was how we had interpreted the shoe right after we saw it. Jordan Peele says the shoe represents a moment of where we check out of a trauma. He zones in on the little shoe that's landed in a precarious, odd situation, and this is a moment that he dissociates. So the shoe for me is in essence, in one way, it's the impossible shot. That is an impossible moment.
Okay. Yeah, I get it. I feel like that's not that different.
I mean,
Well, I've also heard it's waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Well, it's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is he's waiting to also get killed.
Yeah.
And he doesn't because the shoe never drops. Okay. So hit me with your first big theme. I get a bunch, but they all lead back to one, which I see you have written here.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the first theme I would say is like a reminder of how we treat things that aren't human. That was a direct quote from Peele. He states that there's a real world horror that animals are trapped in. I think in some ways they symbolize something very bad about us. But I think like people were kind of confused about the monkey plot, and I think that's really representative of the fact that like Jupe thought he had some special ability to connect and tame dangerous creatures because like the chimp doesn't go to kill him, it goes to fist bump him, so he like thinks he has this like special bond that he's able to overcome. And then that kind of leads him to treating this not UFO but like alien jean jacket as like he thinks that he has a relationship with it. And even during his speech to the crowd, he says, "I believe they trust me." But instead he really just got caught up trying to train a predator, which is also a direct quote from the
Can't tame
film.
a predator.
Yeah, someone says, "I guess some animals ain't fit to be trained." I think that's a flashback of his dad talking about the horse that jean jacket is named after. So it's quite a bit about that, as well as like the fact that jean jacket itself, like he sees this as his territory, like his land, like, and he's just defending his space.
Yeah.
And himself.
He only became territorial over it, though, because Jupe kept feeding him their horses, which is also horrific.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's also, like, using animals for his own selfish gain there, too. But yeah, he becomes, like, territorial, and I think that's very much, like, when we go out, like, we go in Yellowstone, and people are like, oh, they got attacked by a bison, and it's like, well, you're in the bison's home, and you're going to fucking pet a bison, like... Of course that's going to happen, and I think you can kind of see it the same
thing of training a chimpanzee to be on TV show, like thinking that we can have a relationship with it, and it's like, that's still a wild animal.
Yeah.
It might bite your face off. Like, yeah. I agree.
So I think that's the one that's most out in the open, especially because there are so many quotes that like directly play into that about
I think that's one of the easiest ones to see.
So we can get a little deeper then. You can...
Okay. I'm going to talk for a while and then ask questions or interrupt if you need to. Is that okay?
Okay.
All right. This whole movie is about exploitation.
Yes.
Obviously, right? Exploitation of animals, exploitation of people, and exploitation of spectacle or tragedy, but which go together. And specifically about Hollywood exploitation, or at least content creation exploitation. I see, and there's so much plays into this, I see Jean Jacket as a manifestation of a camera, which I think is seen with its eye, right? It's like lens, and then when it opens up, it's like, what it is a shutter, like flapping. Like you see that when it opens up, that's how I see it. Like Jean Jacket is a camera that is watching people, and what Hollywood does, and what...
Okay, did you read that somewhere? Or did you
no, I figured that out when I watched that on my own.
Did you then confirm, like, did you look it up? Did other people notice that?
Yeah. I've seen other people talk about that. But no, I thought about that when we watched it the first time. I was like, that's a shutter. But what Jean Jacket does, and what Hollywood does, is it sucks people up, and exploits them in a lot of ways, or can, and then spits money out. Right? That's exactly what Jean Jacket does. So that like is something that blows my mind that I think is so funny. And then I also see that, you know, Jean Jacket likes to be a voyeur and likes to watch, but does not want to be seen itself, and reacts when people look at it, which I think can be seen in multiple ways. Maybe it's that it is just like how voyeurs are. Voyeurs don't want to be seen. But I also kind of read this as the only way to fix exploitation is to not look at it, right? Like we shouldn't be looking at the spectacles. We shouldn't be
So is that your interpretation as to why you can't look at Jean Jacket if he sucks you up? Okay.
We shouldn't be looking or watching the 24-hour news cycle like we see a lot of, I think, people in this country do, and just watch the violence that is being blown out of proportion every day.
Shout out to my mom.
Yeah. and being panicked about the cities and things like that. It's that, and that's what not just Hollywood, but everything has become is this like spectacle and trying to take advantage of that. So that's, I think, part one to this is exploitation.
Well, I will jump in on that because
I got more to say, so go ahead. Tell me more.
Theme than spectacle. I think you can kind of piece them out.
Yep.
For exploitation, I kind of jotted down, it's definitely a lot about exploiting resources for our own entertainment, like how they are killing the horses just so they can have this freaking show, so they can train this wild thing, but they're literally like killing they've killed 10 of his horses, or I think maybe he had just bought the 10th. But, like, he has killed at least 9 horses. And
he's trying to exploit Jean Jacket.
Yes.
So that's even an even step higher.
Yeah. And then it's also, I think, definitely about the exploitation of, like, Black creatives specifically. Because I think that's why it's so significant that their ancestor was a jockey and one of the first stars of color in Hollywood. Like, it's their family member.
Well, that's the first motion picture.
Yes, that's their family member. But instead, like, what do they do now? They train horses like they're not actually performers. And of course, when we see, like, on set for that movie, everyone present is white. Mm-hmm. And I do think that's significant about how, like, they've kind of been, like, pushed out of the spotlight. Yeah. And so I think that's kind of representative of the exploitation.
I agree that this is also about exploitation of people of color in Hollywood who historically had been pushed out or exploited in the old days in Hollywood and then not given the proper credit. I think we see that a lot. And I think that ties into our characters' motivations, which is that they want to leave their mark. They want to, like, leave a legacy where they feel like their great-great-great-great-grandfather hasn't gotten that. It's like, what can they do, especially after dad dies? Like, what can they do to carry on their legacy or, like, mean something? Yeah,
especially because, like, people don't remember his name.
Yes. And I initially kind of felt like, oh, are they, like, they're just doing this for their own self-interest, which they are, but it is a little bit more than that. And I think it does play into that idea. Mm-hmm. And everyone has a different reason for being there, where, like, the cinematographer wants to get that perfect shot. He's not in it for money. He's got this. The angel doesn't want money. He just is a conspiracy theorist about aliens and, like, wants to. But they're all there and they're all, like, putting themselves in harm's way and other people in harm's way to do it. Mm-hmm. But and Jupe, I think, for him, it's trying. He's never properly dealt with his trauma, right? He's dumping this. He's dumping his efforts into this to still not deal with it. To say, you know what, I could train this wild animal, like how he thought he did with Gordy. And sorry, this movie's just, there's so much going on and it's really incredible. I had something else written about Jupe and his trauma. Now I'm looking for it in my notes. But he's super flawed. Oh yeah, he doesn't learn from, like, his trauma. Instead, he doesn't process it, and he just basically fools himself into thinking that like, his trauma was, like, a gift to him. And it plays into this really amazing scene where instead of even talking about it, what happened, he instead explains an SNL sketch about the traumatic thing that happened, right? Which is now another example of how we in this country take trauma and exploit it, right? And we take it and exploit it for media. Oh, Chris Kattan was killing it, you know, as he says, as this monkey that maimed and killed a bunch of people. And it plays into those themes. I think this movie is so incredibly layered like that, and that's why I, like, consider it his best film. But I got more to say about exploitation, and we could talk about spectacle, then we'll come back to me.
Well, how would you define spectacle necessarily?
I think I've said it a little bit. I mean, this movie is a spectacle in that it's nice to look at and it has a large scale. But I also think that it's something that people want to look at, and it can either be a good thing or a bad thing. Yeah. We like to make a spectacle of tragedy here. I mean, how often are people showing the 9/11 footage and those buildings collapse? Like, it's something people like to look at. Right? Yeah. We like to see the tsunami take out beaches, and it's something I partially blame the news for that as well, but it's something that we can't look away from. We really love tragedy, people. Like, we love to, I don't know why, but we do. It's something in our brains. Like, we're fascinated with, like, death and morbid things. So,
all right. Well, that's kind of what I wrote down. So,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I do. This movie is definitely about spectacle. I mean, there are a lot of quotes where, again, that's pretty, like, on the nose. The beginning quote of the movie is, "I will cast abominable filth at you, make you vile, and make you a spectacle." Which is really, like, sums up the movie there. There's another quote where he's talking about the Gordy incident, Jupe, and he says, the network tried to bury it, but it was a spectacle. So it's like, they couldn't bury it because everyone wanted to see it or talk about it.
SNL makes a sketch about it.
Yes.
Like, of course they do.
And I also think, like, it's very much about how, like, people will do dumb shit in the name of, like, content, which you were, starting to say. If you, like, just thinking about our buddy Logan Paul, who we mentioned, like, filming the Japanese suicide forest.
And showing a dead body.
Showing dead bodies.
And then complaining about how the character in this movie was dumb trying to get the perfect shot and doing a horrible thing. And it's like, my guy, you filmed a recently deceased person in a forest and uploaded it to YouTube for money. Like, what the fuck? And he still is. And there's my example of stop looking at it. Stop watching his shit. There's absolutely no reason after that anybody should be watching any of his stuff and giving him a platform. And it's honestly sickening that he still has one. Man's a wrestler now. He went into a forest, the suicide forest, filmed a recently dead body, sat on it for a week, and still thought this was a good idea to upload.
I know.
And then he scammed a bunch of people with Crypto Zoo and a bunch of other stuff. Stop looking at it. That's the only way you protect yourself and everyone else from it. Because you don't look at it. Sorry, that's my rant.
Preach. Yeah, so I think he's a very prime example of that. I also think about, like, the people in national parks who, like, try and go get, like, the perfect photo or selfie and, like, fall off a cliff. Yeah. Which is one of my biggest fears when I try and take a picture. But I'm not that stupid.
I hope. I really hope you're not. For my sake.
Yeah, it actually reminded me of myself of when I like try and go and like take a cute picture. But I'm not
that's
that
what people
dumb.
Do. We're
and
obsessed.
Matt kind of always like implies that I'm being that stupid, but like I am nowhere near falling off a cliff.
I'm scared of it.
Yeah, you're just scared of heights. But
okay.
Yeah, that's kind of like a lot of what I was thinking about.
So, something I think that is really interesting with the exploitation angle here, and a read I have on this film is, and the reason I think it's really personal to Jordan Peele, is I kind of see it as him coming to terms with his first movie, Get Out. And I think he is acknowledging that in that movie, he exploited Black trauma and like his own trauma, but it wasn't just his trauma to exploit for money and to like make this film. And while I think it is a very good film and should be made, I think there is kind of that conflict that you come to when it comes to making film about real life things. So I, in some ways, kind of see him as like Jupe as his stand-in character, where he himself is also maybe not, it is processing his trauma in an interesting way by like putting it on display in that movie. And I've always thought that like, is this him trying to like come to terms with how he like got to this point, right? And was able to make this movie. Have you thought about that before?
No.
Do you see where I'm coming from with it, though?
No, I get it. I think it's interesting to think about, but I don't know, it's hard. Like, those traumas should be put to film. Like, those are things we as a broader society audience need to, like, see and understand and process.
I agree. And I don't think he's saying that it shouldn't have been made. I think it's, like, let's think about this type of stuff, and like that it is a reasonable question to think about. Like, is it exploitative to do that?
No.
That's
where I'm kind of stuck. Like, okay. I don't know.
I think he's not sure either.
Well, I would say like there are plenty of movies where it is exploitative the way they should. Like, there have been films about like tragedies that then like make money, and the money doesn't go to their victims. Or
I would say,
like,
I would say Get Out, though. Get Out in some ways is about tragedy. I'm not saying Get Out shouldn't be made. I think it definitely should have been. I think he himself is reflecting and looking internally. And I really like that. I like that there's this like conflict, and you can tell that there's this internal conflict, because I think what I come to the conclusion is that all art, including this film, has some level of exploitation of someone. This film has horses in it, right, as actors. And it's a lot about exploiting animals, right? And that still might be there. These stories are always about someone or something, and I don't think that means we should stop like making art. I think it's just we should be cognizant and like think about these things. And I think might be the main message I take away. Like, art is cool, and like art is about people and is about like things that happen, right? Like it's not, sorry to say art is about things that happen sounds so silly. I think you get my point though, right? And I think that's really neat. And that's why I find this to be very like personal to him. And but I think he is going to keep making movies about his life and about things that like are his traumas or, and I think that's okay. And I think that's a lot of people do.
Good.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
But it comes down to the question of like, is any consumption ethical under capitalism kind of question of like, he made a lot of money portraying something that is a trauma for a lot of people that money like went to him and people there. And I think that is like a dilemma that maybe as a lot of filmmakers probably feel.
Yeah.
And I think that's really cool. I think it's really cool to like put that on display, even if it's pointed inward towards him. The criticism is almost towards him. I think that's awesome to say, I'm going to throw something up here that maybe like comes as a criticism towards me, and I'm going to let you think about it and make a decision. And I think the question is you got to make art, and we should all be making art. Art is about the human condition, right? But it's like, let's be cognizant and like, let's think about it when people are making films. And it's so cool. It is such a cool movie.
Yeah.
What do you think about, Jupe being kind of Peele's stand-in when you look at it from this angle?
No, I understand that. I just think he's such a dickbag that, like, it's hard to, like, be like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, but he's a dickbag, but he isn't. It's more a misunderstanding of a horrible thing that happened to him, right? I don't know if I see Jupe as like a bad person. I think that he's a really complex and flawed person.
Yeah.
Which we all are,
I mean,
right?
I think it's interesting, like, while we were watching this, you were like, they're all bad people. And I was like, no, I don't agree.
Oh, and then I stepped back and changed my mind
after. But if
after.
you thought that our main characters were bad people, how is Jupe not a bad person?
I don't. Oh, no, I think they're all people. Is what I determined. They're not all bad people. They're all just, they're flawed. They're human. And that's another amazing thing about this movie.
Flawed in a way that he puts other people directly in harm's way, knowing that he's putting them in harm's way.
Yeah, I think,
Which could maybe constitute as a bad person. Which is why I think I find it a really hard time. Like, I totally understand what you're saying, and you might be right, but I think it's hard to, like, put Jordan Peele, who seems like a really...
Seems like a very nice person.
In the shoes of
this
person who very directly puts other people in harm's way. And I don't know if I would necessarily say, like, yeah, maybe his films are exploiting trauma, but he's not, like, putting people in harm's way by making them.
I think I agree with that.
Different.
No, that's true.
But, I mean, it's a film, so it's not going to be a direct representation. It's not going to be...
Let's think about filmmakers and Jupe, not just Jordan Peele.
Yeah,
is what Jupe does at the ranch by trying to show this spectacle to everybody.
No, I understand.
Not the same thing that filmmakers do.
Get it.
And I agree that I don't think most filmmakers are intending to put people in harm's way, but that doesn't mean they don't.
Yeah.
I mean, how many movies have we talked about on season 1 where we were like, oh, they weren't trying to hurt these people, but with the way they were portrayed on screen, they definitely did.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that Jordan Peele might be saying that about his films as well.
Yeah, like having that same concern and worry.
And that's why I think Jupe is the stand-in for Peele or for filmmakers. And he is, like I said, pointing the finger at himself a little bit. That doesn't mean he's going to stop making movies. But this makes me love this movie even more, is like thinking about it from this. And makes me like Jordan Peele even more. And I do think he's a genius.
Yes,
I agree. I think he is a phenomenal filmmaker. And it would make me so happy if we were spot on and he listened to this and gave us a shout out and was like, you guys got it. Because I feel like I got it.
You sound...
I feel so confident in my read on this.
Yeah, I was about to be like, okay,
I really do.
Confidence is through the roof.
It just all makes sense. It all comes together in such a perfect way.
Well, I think this episode's making me sound dumb, so I don't think he'll be
I don't think you sound dumb. I don't think you sound dumb at all. I think we hit him. I think there's even more themes beyond this. I also think, as a Western, I've talked to a friend of mine about this, and he said that in a lot of like Westerns, like black characters were never really the heroes. And so to make like Daniel the hero of this Western, to make like on that horse at the end, under the sign, like in the dust, to be this like Western hero is trying to, I don't want to say make up for that, but like to kind of point that out and be like, we're going to have like black cowboy hero, which we hadn't seen in Hollywood, which was Westerns were the foundation of Hollywood, right? Like,
well, I would say they hadn't been seen because, I mean, of course, the very first clip put to film is a black jockey, but we've lost that, and there was like a long bit of time where our representation has been so bad. So I think regardless of how prevalent it's been, whether it has been or not, which clearly it has been at least a little bit, but I think to pay homage to that history as well as the representation that we need now, which I think Jordan Peele is really good about. Like, all his films include people of color.
Well, he always said he's going to write about what he knows about.
Yes,
that's why.
An experience that he knows and has, which I think is really important to put to film.
Yeah. But I think overall, like, this movie is so rich with themes, and like I said, I'm sure there's even more. And I'm sure there's links I haven't even come up with or you haven't come up with to lead it back to this idea of like exploitation and that art is exploitation. Mm-hmm. And it rocks. And I feel like I've said everything I need to say about themes. I'll look through my notes and see if I have anything else, but I think I hit them. This movie, I know what I missed. This is dumb, but I think what's cool is that this movie is so rich with themes, and it's all wrapped up into this, like, what I called a cowboy horror sci-fi blockbuster spectacle. And to, like, take this, like, really watchable film that then can also have all of this layered. Like, it really, layers. I felt like when I saw this, I was like, I felt like we hadn't had something like this in a while, where it, like, kind of hit all of those levels, right? And I think it's something Spielberg has been really good at. Like, Spielberg's the master of the blockbuster, right? But, like, there's always so much more going on in those films. And I think, like, Jordan Peele has, like, hit that level with this one. Which I also say this is why I find it to be my favorite of the three, is I think it took my favorite elements from both Get Out and Us, and we're able to combine them, which is where Get Out was, like, very technically proficient, didn't swing for the fences in any way, but had, like, sound, solid, like, complex themes, but they were kind of on the sleeve, right? You knew exactly what he was saying. Actually, Us had complex themes too, kind of hidden a little too much, really swung for the fences. This one both swings and perfects. And I love that. Like, you swing for the fences and they made solid contact. Yeah. Is the way I see it. And that's why it's my favorite of the three. So
I don't know. I have to rewatch all of them because now it's been like a really long gap of time since I've seen Us and Get Out. So I can't really say this is my favorite, but I do think this is, like I've said, the most beautiful.
It is beautiful. Well, and I'm so excited for him to make more. Sorry.
Speaking of how beautiful it is, Jordan Peele said he wrote the film Trapped Inside because he wrote it in 2020. So I knew I wanted to make something that was about the sky. I knew the world would want to be outside. And at the same time, I knew we had this newfound fear from this trauma, from this time of what it meant to go outside. Can we go outside? So I slipped some of that in.
Interesting.
And I love that.
He's great. I'm just so happy. I want him to keep making stuff. I'll see everything he makes.
Well, I'm pretty sure his fourth film was supposed to come out Christmas 2024 and it's been pushed back due to the strike stuff. So
brutal. Well, I mean, strike is reasonable.
Reasonable reason to push it back. So we'll just have to keep patiently waiting.
What an awesome person, though. Like, and I said this movie makes me like him even more if I read the themes correctly. You know, and I think he's great.
Would you like to end this episode by shit-talking Logan Paul some more? Because I have pulled up his Twitter thread.
Again, this movie is about that type of exploitation. Yes. Like, the shitty... Again, everything is still some level of that, but, like, let's use our brains on, like, what it's okay to exploit and what it's not, right? Like, oh my God, those tweets... He said some dumb shit, and this is going to make me mad. Are you pulling them up?
Yes.
Okay. I can't believe we're looking at it, Hannah. We're looking at Jean Jacket right now by even speaking Logan Paul's name.
Nope is one of the worst movies I've seen in a long time. I love Jordan Peele and Keke Palmer can act her ass off, but this movie is objectively slow and confusing with stretched themes that don't justify the pace.
Does he have the brain of a fucking hamster? What is confusing about it?
No, well, I can understand why these themes, like you said, they swing for the fences a bit more. Like, I think Get Out is very on the surface. And this isn't quite as much. But calling this movie, the theme stretched, I don't agree. And calling this movie slow...
I don't agree with that
I don't agree at all.
Go ahead, though. Sorry.
It's not hard to conceptualize something disturbing. A trained chimp goes animalistic and mauls an entire set, or a UFO devours anything in its path. But it is hard to sensibly tie it to the plot, which was done remarkably poor here. A series of questions, ... Okay, so wrong. I think it ties in.
Let's see if I can answer all of his questions.
No, we can.
Okay.
No one was curious how a quarter shot through a man's face and killed him, or why a key was lodged in the backside of the horse he was riding.
They said it fell from a plane.
Yes. Why or how did the shoe stand upright in the set of Gordy's home?
It's a bad miracle. Who cares? That's the point, is he got distracted by it. Just something weird.
Or, like, kind of, like, disassociated.
Yes.
Maybe not distracted, but disassociated.
Yes,
in
it's
his
something
trauma.
that he's more focused on the shoe and builds a fucking shrine to his trauma instead of, like, processing it.
The deep voice cinematographer was cryptic for no reason other than to be cryptid. You're telling me this guy was willing to die because he wanted better lighting to capture the ET?
Yes,
for real?
bro, you filmed a dead body. You're telling me that you were willing to upload the footage of a dead body on YouTube. Like, you don't think there's freaks out there that are like, I'm going to put myself in harm's way to get footage?
Let's talk about the national park.
Yes.
Falls over the cliff tours.
Fuck Logan Paul.
Same note, man on the motorcycle. Why was his voice deep and robotic, framed to be an antagonist who'd have a grand reveal?
Bro, he is you. You are the TMZ
I also don't
reporter.
think it was framed to have a grand reveal. Like, no one cared about who that was.
He's the paparazzi. He's an idiot. Like, that's like what they do. Again, it's about showing up to exploit trauma and exploit a fucking tragedy that happened, which is what you do, Logan Paul.
My next point, the storyline is all over the place. No. In a crowd of 40 people, the actress who was mauled on the set of Gordy's home was there. Why? Shock factor because of her scarring? Did she come to all of them? Did she come before the ET feeding? He clearly invited her there.
I'm so mad. Sorry, go ahead. I haven't answered this one.
He clearly invited her there for this spectacle, and it's also like, he might see this as healing from his trauma, and he's
exactly.
like, come heal.
He's seeing this as, I was able
to
to survive this attack. I can train this. So he's inviting a friend. They probably stayed in touch. So who cares? Why are you? This is motherfuckers that argue with the logic of the movie, but like, this still makes sense. Like, it makes sense that he invited her, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. All right, continue.
Why was so much emphasis placed on the name of the horses? They had title cards.
Because it was cool as fuck.
Yeah.
It was cool. Shut up.
Why was Barbie Ferrer, an incredible acting talent, so underutilized in this movie? Why was she even in the movie? She played Nessie Leslie. I don't even know who that was.
She was the one that worked with Angel in the studio. And not the studio, the Fries.
Oh!
I don't know.
She wanted to be in the movie. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
He cast people, and she was funny.
I don't have an answer for you on that one, man.
I don't think that needs an answer, though. I just think that's just trying to complain. Way to strip all the life from a phenomenal actor, Daniel Kaluuya, by casting him as possibly the most mundane, vanilla character I've ever seen.
I'm so mad.
I'm just pissed.
He's so good. What are you talking about?
Not all people are going to be, like, full of, like, crazy energy. Not everyone is you, Logan Paul. I'm a strawberry.
No, I'm a strawberry.
I'm a motherfucking blueberry. Like, we're not all, like, whack ass.
Go fake your colorblindness again. Jesus. One, it's about the chemistry and the, like, straight man dynamic of him and Keke Palmer.
Also, it's also like his trauma, and
he's
a lot
depressed
of times
after
people like turn in when they experience a trauma or depression. Like, I'm sorry I have to explain that to you.
It's also, he kicks ass still. He's so good. He's like this strong, stoic, like, Western hero. That's what it is, in my opinion, too. Like, he's the cowboy hero. All right, continue.
An extraterrestrial creature that is advanced enough to fully shapeshift, activate as an anti-electromagnetic field, and propel itself in any direction quickly and quietly. Can't tell the difference between a plastic inflatable and a viable
My guy, it's an animal. My dog can't tell the difference between a plastic bone and a real bone. Like, what do you mean? Like,
my dog can't see colors.
Also, we don't know. Bro. We don't know if it's. Well, neither can Logan Paul, allegedly.
Yeah.
Also, like, we never know if it's extraterrestrial. I like to think that maybe it's from Earth. You know.
Yeah. Like,
it's just an animal. It's just an animal. It's a jellyfish. They got no brain. It eats, sleeps, and reproduces. We don't even know if it does that. All right.
Last tweet, I love Peele, the VFX, and aesthetic, but my thesis is this. I can feel him attempting to recreate
I think Logan Paul just learned the word thesis.
Yes. I can feel him attempting to recreate the shock from Get Out and Us. Mystery, violent allure, and cinematic choices made for the sake of reaction instead of legitimate contribution to the storyline killed this movie for me. Fuck you.
Bruh, I'm so mad. I can't... Just like, what are you talking about? Everything in this movie comes together in such a perfect way. I'm upset.
Yeah, I love the responses. People say Logan Paul is missing the point of the movie when it's about people like him.
It really is about him. Yeah, I mean, the actual bad character in this movie, which is the TMZ guy, although...
You forgot to mention your cameo in this movie, and it's the TMZ guy.
Yeah. Like...
Wow, another bad take from you. Color me shocked. And I really like the color me since he has made videos about how he's colorblind.
And he's not.
He's not colorblind.
Well, or it's not as bad as he portrays it to be.
Yeah, a little faker.
Now I'm a strawberry. All right.
Such a funny motherfucking blueberry. We don't like Logan Paul, but there's a video mocking Logan Paul's colorblind video.
It's a classic H3H3
like
iDubbbz video.
Quote.
Yeah. Oh, motherfucking blueberry. All right, no more of that. He sucks. Don't look at him. Don't look at Jean Jacket.
Yep.
All right. I just think he's wrong. I feel like if ChatGPT existed at the time, he used that to write it, because I think, like, it's like he really thought he like did something there. He thought he was being really smart. Yeah. Fuck that guy. He stole a bunch of money on CryptoZoo. He should probably be charged for that. So fuck him.
Jordan Peele, if you want to come on the pod and shit on Logan Paul with us, feel free.
No, I want you to come on and see if I nailed this.
I want you to come on and tell me everything that happens inside your brain, because I think you're a genius. I just need to be there.
This is my dream.
I want to crawl into your brain.
I listened. I'm going to shout out a podcast. I listened to the Talking Scared podcast, and they're big Stephen King fans. They did an episode on It, and I love the book It. And they like nailed everything about it so much that Stephen King found it and tweeted at them and was like this, and like tweeted and said, please listen to this. Like, they are spot on. And then he came on the show. So that's what I want. That's my dream with Jordan Peele, please.
I feel like that's just like too much ego.
Yep. That's fine. All right. I'm done. We got to rate this movie.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh my God. I feel like I have to give it a 10 after all that. 9.5 out of 10. That's what I'm giving it. 9.5.
I'm going 9.
9? You gotta speak up.
9.3.
9.3 out of 10.
It's a really great movie, but it's just not one of my favorites.
Please go. That's how I feel too. Please go watch it. Jordan Peele's the man. Watch all his movies. And thanks for listening. We all done for the... Is that good, Hannah? You got anything else to say?
No.
All right. I'm Matt Hannah.
I'm Hannah.
This is Horror Hour with the Hannahs. Fuck Logan Paul.
Bye. Thank you for tuning into Horror Hour with the Hannahs. Make sure to listen to future episodes on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube, and follow for additional content on TikTok or Instagram at Horror Hour with the Hannahs. If you like the podcast, please leave a positive review on your favorite podcasting app. Happy hauntings!